early 40s and 50s in Columbus, the black folks, Negroes at that time. Mm-hmm. And we worked together. And I think if you needed money, you go to the number banker, if you couldn't get any money or something. We had our own city and our own life right here on the east side. Didn't know about any other side, this is your world, I was raised, people thought I was spoiled, but I wasn't. Everything I had, if I wanted something, I had to work for it. Mm-hmm. And I had a job for 25 cents per car to dust it off every day. It was 2 cars to wipe off and everything like that. I sold eggs. I worked. I had to Mom put a hat on me and they gave me a little stool and go out there and pick all those beans and do things. I learned how to get eggs from the chicken and even how to cut them and clean them and how to do all that stuff, I was not spoiled, as the only girl or anything to do, It's just that this is part of life. I think the Henderson House should be, Hayes Henderson should be a learning factor, a learning place. We have had wonderful experiences where people have rented tables and chairs and they come out with everything and have big weddings, which we did have. We also have pictures of that. Outside, there was even some of the guys, people from German Village came and had an event and had their table out at night in the middle, in the front of the flower bed, and had chandeliers and things. We had dances where the gazebo is, and it was night and had candles all out. These are a group of women that had their imagination running. They said they were all white and they had candles out there and so forth. In my garage, I still have those torches and things. Mm-hmm. Imagination is available there. You can do it as long as you don't put nails and ruin things, Right. You have to set a ground rule and then everything else is easy. Parking. I had a nice parking space in the back. Since I have there's a bathroom in the basement. Did you know that? Did you see? It's a bathroom and a shower in the basement. Okay. But I have 2 brothers here, Esquire Leo Ross and Robert Ross.
I'm only Robert when I'm in trouble.
Well, my mother and father both belonged to different organizations, and he belonged to the Elliott B. Law?
And the National Bar Association.
Of course. They can tell you more than I can on that. And my mother was the president of the LAW, Lawyers Active Wives Club. My father was the Alpha Phi Alpha. And my mother belonged to a music, she sang classical music, studied it at Capital University.
Is there anything in particular you would like to see happen to the property? Is there any way that you think it would be really important to have it commemorate the kind of history that you've shared with us today?
I'd like for you to do what you plan on doing. It's a continuation of what I have been doing. And I have a book showing Leo and his wife got married, and there was a big wedding there. And it was all outside. People, organizations, sororities, fraternities, they came there for the events. It's Michael Coleman, when they decided to become mayor, they didn't want to have a meeting downtown, so they came to my place. Mm-hmm. And it was a place that political, and I've entertained several attorneys and judges' wives and things like that. It's just like an open house. It's a friendly place. Mm-hmm. And the way the layout was, that piano was a wedding gift to my mother and it was over on 20th Street at that time as a wedding gift. We also had a player piano in the basement. It's gone. Big mirrors over the fireplace, and it's gone. But do not touch that wall because it hasn't been, the asbestos is all.
Right. And then,
in the living room?
Right.
Yes, I was about to do that myself because right where the chandelier, you see a crack. And when Yerke had the first explosion, our windows in that living room settled down, and didn't know that until I saw ivy growing through. And, we had a grant on the east side. I think you might know about that. A long time ago, where we had money allocated to our east side, especially up and down. That's why I was going up and down Atchison Street to get names and everything, for a house that we could embellish the houses in the neighborhood.
Right.
And only 2 or 3 houses were qualified. Everybody was still on a mortgage, and my house and 2 other houses were already paid for. And I was insulted when the guys came in and said, "Oh, this rug is old and this is old," and I was getting insulted. Well, what they were doing is counting it down so I can get, it was a grant,
More.
and get new and everything. So I had the house, the wall in the living room would show cracks because they explained that winding staircase, which is cherry wood, when you go up and down, it swings.
Yep.
So that's why the wall would. So I was introduced to this wallpaper that is on the back of all your good wallpaper books. That you put this paper up on it, and it's like a Band-Aid to the walls, and then you can paint and everything else. It looks like drywall. So I did that, and that's why you say the house is in good condition. And then I decided to design the bathroom as a brothel. So I have flowers all up in the ceiling, which is floral wallpaper, and chandelier and so forth. And I don't know what is in there now. See, I'm, AP Bentley, Dr. Duncan. Of course, Waldo Tyler's drugstore was there.
Now, what about C.D. White?
Yes, well, yeah, C.D. White's funeral home. And McNabb's, did you know that was the first black bank?
Yeah.
Okay.
On Long Street, yes.
On Long Street, yeah. McNabb's. But I'm trying to think. Oh, Cecilia Chancellor. And Bus Wright. He was the principal of the school or something, Bus Wright.
Oh, yeah, Chesapeake.
Chesapeake. And they lived on Long, you go up and down Long, Nelson Road, and they had a couple of houses, AP Bentley, those are the ones I can remember. I think, just coming down the street. And I was a little girl then, but, it was.
When time you pull up on Atchison and you walk up that walkway, what should someone feel? That's what we would like to, we can summarize.
To me, there's one thing that always stands out, as I said before, was that America has had a very complex relationship with racism, slavery, and all. But it shows, take a complex person like Rutherford B. Hayes, and his involvement in abolition and then other things that he did that seemed to be contrary to those principles in Reconstruction, and you see the transition of that property and the transition of that property in that now it becomes part of black culture.
Wow, yeah.
For this country, and watching that transition and how we come from that complexity to where we are right now as a historical jewel in our culture.
I like that. I like that.
To me, it'd be a model of our resiliency, because it and even when you're talking about it as an educational place, even if you looked at some of the practices that the chickens, the growing things and making sure that things were there, the opportunity, this sets a foundation for even Ohio State to be a huge part, if they recognize and value the opportunity of perpetuating that resiliency and actually highlighting it, because I think that's extremely important.
I'd like to continue what we had started. It's doable. I think it's a beautiful location and land where you can do and express yourself. You can have many things there. I just had certain rules. Do not put nails and things into the wood, you know, and so forth, you know. They can use tape or whatever to preserve, you know. Because I had a group that came in and wanted to string things up on the dining room wall. I said, no, no, no. Well, we can come back and paint. Never do things like that. Keep your rules and everything in line, and let everything else happen around it. So.